It's known as a clinical chameleon and is one of the most common digestive disorders out there. It's called celiac disease and is going undiagnosed at an alarming rate. Tonight, two moms are speaking out about the unnecessary suffering they say their children went through in their search for answers.
My baby is not healthy and I need to fix this.
As a toddler, 10-year-old Sophie suffered some of the classic symptoms of celiac disease: diarrhea, headaches, fatigue, trouble focusing, a hard bloated belly, and stunted growth.
Her feet stayed the same size for a really long time.
Yet her mom, Chantel, says a quick diagnosis did not come.
I felt like I was just then getting Band-Aid solutions, constantly. Band-Aid solutions, put her on iron, take her off dairy, increase the orange juice, put her on a different iron supplement.
So this took you 4 doctors and 3.5 years to find out what was wrong with your daughter.
And multiple tests.
Celiac disease is the condition that causes me to get sick whenever I eat foods that have gluten.
Celiac disease is not a food allergy. It's an autoimmune digestive disorder that damages the small intestine and blocks the body's ability to absorb nutrients. It's triggered by gluten, a common ingredient found in a wide variety of foods, and if left unchecked, celiac can lead to things like infertility, osteoporosis, a higher risk of cancers. There's also a link to depression and anxiety, and the only treatment for celiac is a strict gluten-free diet. For 7-year-old Ellie, her symptoms were less common but still associated with celiac. She suffered persistent skin issues that led to serious infections.
Because she'd have little bumps on her nose, and she'd have bumps on her elbows and her legs, and she'd have big patches of eczema. She's like, why does my skin look like this? Why is this happening to me?
Ellie's mom, Christina, was also hitting dead ends with doctors.
And she was on IV antibiotics, and we saw an immunologist and different dermatologists and pediatricians, and they didn't know why it was happening.
It was through her own research and chats with other moms that put her 7-year-old aspiring gymnast on the road to recovery.
What's your favorite all-time gluten-free food?
Oatmeal raisin cookies.
Oh, that's yummy.
With both girls now thriving on a gluten-free lifestyle, their moms want to know why it's taking so long for doctors to connect the dots.
I hope that other people out there educate themselves about this type of disease and that doctors start to recognize it more.
That was one thing that I think kept me going, was my mom instinct. Just, it's not good enough. The problems are still happening, and this is not satisfying.
Now, Ontario is the only province in the country that does not cover the cost of the celiac screening blood test. The price tag is $125, and some of the stats here are astounding. Right now, on average, it's taking 12 years for adults to get a diagnosis. Celiac is one of the most common digestive disorders. It's triggered by gluten, an ingredient you'll find in many of the foods we eat, yet an alarming number of people are going undiagnosed. And Ontario is the only province that does not cover the cost of the celiac screening test.
Why can't we just have more testing?
10-year-old Sophie spent her early years suffering from the classic symptoms of celiac disease: fatigue, stomach issues, stunted growth, headaches, and a bloated belly. Yet her mom, Chantel, says a quick diagnosis did not come. So this took you 4 doctors and 3.5 years to find out what was wrong with your daughter.
And multiple tests.
Ontario is the only province that does not cover the cost of the celiac screening test, a blood test that's up to 98% accurate. The price tag, $125.
If you have certain symptoms that are similar to those of celiac or, other digestive problems, why can't that celiac screening just be automatically done? Why do we need to work so hard to ask for it?
I've done some digging myself, and I can't determine why Ontario is the only province that doesn't cover the cost.
Kate McMurray with the Canadian Digestive Health Foundation tells me she does not understand the government's rationale on this, especially since this disease is so common. Why is it taking 12 years for an adult to be diagnosed with celiac, and why is it taking more than a year for children to be diagnosed?
There seems to be a bit of a disconnect between the specialist side of things and the primary care side of things. Many go undiagnosed because there's a lack of awareness by those HCPs, or because patients present with a very different set of symptoms.
In a statement to CityNews, Ontario's Ministry of Health says the small bowel biopsy is the gold standard for diagnosis. It goes on to say that coverage of the celiac blood test could soon be up for review.
We're creating a bit of a storm for larger health challenges if we're not intervening earlier on.
The stats surrounding celiac are astounding. 1 in every 114 Canadians are affected by the disease. 90% are undiagnosed. If your siblings or parents test positive for celiac, the chances you have it too are 1 in 10. Shauna Hunt, City News.